Hi, and welcome to the Wednesday session of week 2 of the Mindfulness Challenge. This is Bud Wassell, and I'm glad you can join me. So let's get started. So before I ask how it's going, let's just take a quick pause. Remember, this is part of the practice, is just learning to pause during transitions or whenever it feels helpful. So just pause for a minute or so right now and turn inward. Noticing how your body feels. Just actually feel your body sitting here right now. And allow gravity to pull you down into the chair. Feel your feet on the floor, your bottom in the chair, and notice your posture. Now focus on your breathing for a few cycles. And that's it. Just a great way to pause as a mindful minute to bring ourselves into the present moment. So this week we introduced the body scan, and you had yesterday, Tuesday, to do it on your own. How did it go? Are you noticing what's working for you? When are you finding a time to fit it in or a place? Maybe the beginning of the day, maybe middle of the day, maybe the end of the day. It doesn't really matter, but what's working for you? What's a challenge? What barriers are you noticing? And believe me, it's most people have barriers. Most people find it hard to find a good time and a place, and that's really part of the challenge here, is to try to make it work for you. Also, I want to remind you about the key attitudes this week: beginner's mind, acceptance, and non-striving. So with the body scan, we can bring all these into play. As we go through the body, just approaching each part of the body or part of the scan with a beginner's mind, not judging it, not automatically thinking something about it that we've been thinking for years, but just approaching it with a beginner's mind. Accepting things as they are and not really wishing them to be all that different. Just it's the way it is, And non-striving, just, again, we're just learning to really just be and not do. That's what that comes down to. So for the mini lesson, just want to, when we notice emotions, what I'd like you to do is whether it's an anxiety or a worry or a sadness or fear or some sort of emotion like that, see if you can drop down into your body when you recognize the emotion, and then just see where it kind of manifests in the body. Perhaps a heaviness or a tightness in the chest or the shoulders, or you notice it in the belly or the back. And the neck. Just really tune into that and kind of connect the dots between emotions and what's going on in the body. So before we meditate, it's helpful to come up with an intention. So what's your intention today? It's sort of based on how your day is going and or what you'd like to achieve. And we just talked about non-striving. So, but it does help to have an intention. What it is that would be helpful for you. Let's put it that way. Okay. Any one of these would be fine. All right. So let's move on to the actual meditation. It's called the breath-based body scan, and it's by the work of Vidymala Burch. And before we start, let me just, as an intro, talk about, we're thinking of breathing as a multidimensional embodied experience. Okay, so if we can learn to rest deeply in our breathing, we can bring on the parasympathetic wing of our nervous system. That's the part that brings on calm and ease, the opposite of fight or flight. So it can be very restorative and healing when we do this. And if we practice it, because we tend to hold our breath when we're stressed, but if we practice this, we can make this more of our default way of responding to things. And that can be so helpful. Instead of being, kind of speedy and adrenalized, we can learn to step back and be calm and peaceful. So let's begin the actual meditation. So invite yourself to rest inside your breathing, inside the body. You can close your eyes and find a comfortable position, a position of balance for yourself. And if there is discomfort as we go through this, feel free to move. That's okay. Taking a deep breath in, and on the out breath, allowing the weight of the body to settle down into gravity. Do this a couple more times. Deep breath in, letting the body settle down into gravity, relaxing and releasing. Allowing the body to rest down into the points of contact. And then allowing the breath to find its own natural rhythm, to flow very easily and naturally on the in-breath and the out-breath. Now let's gather our awareness to rest inside the belly, inside the abdomen, the soft area between the pelvis at the bottom and the ribs at the top. Seeing if you can allow the belly to swell a little on the in-breath and subside on the out-breath. Just rest inside this rhythm for a few moments. And now coming to the chest area, allowing the ribs to expand on the in-breath and subside on the out-breath. The lungs filling and emptying, the breastbone rising and falling with each breath cycle. Now moving awareness to rest inside the back of the body, the whole back of the torso, and being curious. Using that beginner's mind. How is breathing showing up in your back right now? Noticing how the ribs and the lungs are as much in the back of the body as in the front. And can you get a sense of that as you rest awareness in this area? Your breathing expressing itself in your upper back. And what about your lower back? Maybe you can feel the shape of your lower back changing a little bit with each in-breath and out-breath. Maybe there's a broadening on the in-breath and a subsiding on the out-breath. Just being aware of this slight movement sensations in the lower back as you breathe. Maybe even having a sense of the lower back being gently massaged by breathing. Now broadening our awareness to include the whole torso, the front, the back, the sides, the insides, and the surface. Can you feel the volume expanding a little bit in all directions on the in-breath and subsiding a bit on the out-breath? This is 360-degree breathing. And we're being careful not to force or strain the breathing, just allowing the body to breathe on its own, expanding and subsiding, expanding and subsiding. And having a sense of this rhythm, this movement, now spilling down into the legs. And maybe you can even feel some very faint echo of breathing down into the legs. And of course, don't worry if you can't. And just allow your awareness to inhabit the whole legs down to your ankles and feet and toes. And now allowing your awareness to flow back up again to the torso for a few moments. Resting inside the swelling and subsiding in all directions. And now allowing the awareness to move into the shoulders and to pour down into the arms. down to the wrists, hands, fingers, and thumbs. Allowing the arms to rest in gravity and letting the hands rest on your lap or thighs. And perhaps, again, feeling a very faint echo of breathing in the arms and hands. And as we sit here in stillness, we're not doing any gross movements, but we tune into all these very subtle movements of respiration, of breathing. Being aware of the flow of sensations of the whole body. Letting the whole body be a little softer, a little more fluid than usual. And now allowing our awareness to pour back into the shoulders and up into the head and the face. Releasing and softening in the base of the skull as best as we can. Checking that your head is poised and balanced. Letting the face be soft, and see if you can soften around the mouth and the base of the tongue. Releasing the jaw a little bit, so the in-breath and out-breath can move freely into this area. And now allowing awareness to rest deeply inside the head. Seeing if you can get a sense of some kind of movement or breathing, even in this area. You won't be able to feel it as directly, but it can be lovely to get a sense of the brain being soft and pliable, and the brain being breathed in some mysterious way. And now broadening our awareness to include the whole body, the legs, the torso, the arms and neck, and the head. And checking to see areas of the body that they're soft as possible. The buttocks soft, the belly soft, the back soft, the base of the skull and the brain soft. And see if you can get a sense of the whole body expanding a bit on the in-breath and subsiding in all directions on the out-breath. A subtle rhythm and flow of the whole body as we give the weight of the whole body up to gravity and rest in each present moment inside breathing. And as we begin to bring this practice to a close, perhaps forming an intention to drop back into this deeply embodied breath awareness as we move into the rest of the day. Or even if you wake up at night unable to sleep, you can do it then. Whenever you remember or notice, allow the body to be a little more pliable, to be rocked and massaged by breathing. And in your own time, when you're ready, gently coming out of the practice and re-engaging with your day. And so that ends the breath-based body scan. And again, thank you for joining me this Wednesday of week 2. Just want to remind you about the daily practices. Do the best you can to do a formal practice, the body scan this week, or you can do the sitting meditation. The informal practices that I've introduced, but you can also bring in, this is a new one, noticing unpleasant events. Okay, so when you notice an unpleasant event, just kind of checking in. What thoughts are you having? What feelings do you have? What's going on in the body? Connecting those dots, okay? And then remember, you might want to jot down these practices on the log sheet just for your own benefit to see how things are going for you. And of course, I'll collect them at the end for the grand prize. So I'll just leave you with this from Vidymala Burch. So the 3 things that she recommends, these are kind of informal, easy pauses. So when in doubt, breathe out. So if you're feeling a little stressed, let the out breath flow all the way out of the body. Number 2, befriend gravity. So instead of resisting when we're tense or stressed, allow that softness, that pliability, and just let the body relax and settle into the chair or down into your feet as you're standing. And then the 3 B's of the breath that can be helpful to soften and relax the buttocks, the belly, and the base of the skull. Helps us to settle, arrive, and rest. So again, thank you for joining me. This ends today's lesson, and we'll be sending out another one tomorrow. So enjoy your day and mind the moment. Take good care.